So in the next 5 minutes, I want to introduce a project, a creative writing initiative that's been running in Dublin for the past year called Dublin in the Coming Times. We've been running a number of creative writing workshops across the city, and I suppose what I really want to explain is how being involved in this project has made me think a lot about the future and how we think about the future. And I'm really calling on everyone here today to start engaging more with our future and reigniting our imaginations and thinking about it. So for me, the Jetsons was my image or my vision for future living. So by now I should be in a hover car somewhere in space, and best of all, working only a 3-hour working day. I think the appeal for the Jetsons for me lay with the fact that it opened me up to a whole other world. The idea that there were lots of other possibilities beyond my own reality. And I will admit that possibly a big part of this had to do with Rosie the robot and the idea that I would never have to clean anything myself again. And while vacuum robots are now one of our very beautiful realities in life, I'm not convinced that they are up to Rosie's standards, so I still do my own cleaning. But one of our other beautiful realities that we got to see in the Jetsons is the idea of teleconferencing. Unfortunately, the failure of the 3-hour working day to really kick in has meant that most of my friends are too busy to call me, so I FaceTime myself. But I guess the idea really that I'm trying to, get across is that popular culture, literature, TV shows, they're important. They play a role in our lives. They influence us. They can do so much more. They can provide us with company, best friends, and friendship when we most need it. But for what I'm talking about today, they also provide us with visions of the future and understandings and ideas of what the future might hold. So, for example, Apple Watches, Google self-drive cars, increased state surveillance, the horrors of climate change. They're all things that we're familiar with for a long time through the popular culture we consume. And I mentioned being involved in Dublin in the Coming Times, a project that borrows its title from a Yeats poem. And being involved in this project has really encouraged me to think more about not the future, but how we think about the future. So the premise of the project is quite simple. We ask people to think about the future and write about it, or as the case may be, draw about it. In other cases, people have reported on it. So a group of primary school children, for example, created a newspaper set in Dublin in the year 2480. So at this point, hundreds of stories have been written. Some people really embraced the idea of thinking about the future. Primary school students, for example, couldn't be stopped. Others found it quite difficult. What could I possibly know about the future? So it was all this variety of approaches and conversations that just got me thinking about our now, where we are, our visions for the future, how the future might influence our actions now. We've all read the 2016 doom and gloom headlines. The world's getting worse, it's terrible, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the stories represent that. They're quite apocalyptic in nature. Body parts float by as we navigate a Dublin that's underwater. However, not everyone took such a gloomy approach. And again, it was the variety of approaches and discussions that made me really think that creative writing is one way. It's maybe a start, a way that we can start to really think about our future and the future we want. So I'm handing this over to you. I'm asking all of you guys to start writing and thinking about the future. Here's your story setting. It's Ireland, the year is 2056. You're at a music festival. What does it look like? Who's there? Is it still raining? Has it stopped? And then thinking a little bit more about the story. Who's the main character? Who is the person at this music festival? What is it that they're trying to achieve? Do they have a greatest wish or an ambition? Is there something or someone preventing them from getting that done? And like any great character, do they have a pal or a sidekick, a best friend that's going to see them through their journey? So I'm essentially here to hand it over to you and suggest that we together can start thinking about the future, rewriting it, come up with some ideas, If you like them, send them in. We're happy to hear from you. So thank you very much.